wish this never happened.
People today. Tired of daily insulin injections? Omnipod delivers insulin through a discreet waterproof pod to help simplify life.
What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here. Let me get the Steam window out of the way, and tonight I will be reacting to 9 more pieces of dark and disturbing lost media. This is by Savage17, and let's get right into this.
And one for me. Introducing buy one, get one for just $1 at Burger King. Grab a Flame Grilled Whopper or Impossible Whopper and mix or match it with your favorites for an extra $1. Go ahead. You deserve it. Buy one, get one for $1. Your way better.
Try our new scented oils for freshness that lasts. Crafted to give you amazingly natural smelling fragrances day after day for up to 60 days. Give us one plug for freshness that lasts.
A while back, I made a video going through 5 pieces of disturbing lost media that were listed under the Not Safe for Life category on the Lost Media Wiki. That video did really well, so I decided to dive into the NSFL page once again, as I barely even scratched the surface of this particular lost media rabbit hole. I should warn you all that this content may be disturbing to some viewers. If you wish, I advise you to click off this video now. For those of you who've stayed, this is 9 more pieces of dark and disturbing lost media. RALSTON'S Blue John Canyon incident.
My name's Aaron Ralston. My parents are down in Larry Ralston, Inglewood, Colorado. So I think this piece, make an attempt to get it to them. Be sure, I appreciate it.
Aron Ralston is an American medical engineer and motivational speaker born in 1976. After working as an engineer for the Intel Corporation for 5 years, he quit after developing a love for mountaineering and moved to Colorado to pursue a full-time career in this field. On April 26, 2003, the then 26-year-old Ralston was scaling the Blue John Canyon in southeastern Utah. While climbing down a slot canyon, a boulder that he was using to support his weight became dislodged and pinned his right hand against the canyon wall. Despite his best efforts, he couldn't free his arm, and because he hadn't informed anyone that he would climb the canyon, he knew nobody would come looking for him. Over the next few days, Ralston was forced to ration his food supply, which consisted of 350 milliliters of water and 2 burritos, and eventually had to resort to drinking his own urine. During the course of the event, Ralston created a video diary for his friends and family, as he believed he was going to die. After failing to chip away at the boulder with a knife, Ralston decided that he would attempt to amputate his forearm. This proved difficult, however, as the knife could not break through the bone. After 5 days, Ralston carved his name and the date he predicted he would die onto the wall, and he recorded his last goodbyes to his family. The next day, however, he managed to break his arm using the torque against it. He then managed to amputate his arm using a tourniquet to stop the blood flow and a multi-tool to cut through the muscle tissue and a nerve.
And so I slammed my body against the opposite wall. I grabbed the backside of the boulder and even got my feet up to where I was standing halfway up the wall. And the rock, pumping my body over it until finally that bottom bone snapped. But I knew that was the hard part.
It was only a few more moments
and then boom, and I wasn't even attached anymore. And I fell down like this, and
Hi there.
Tony. You just missed Frank.
Oh, yeah? When? Well, I didn't come to see Frank.
This is not the time or the place, Tony. Next time, make an appointment first.
That's okay. I got something important I'm going to talk to you about.
there will never be a more powerful experience.
After freeing himself, Ralston rappelled one-handed down the canyon. While attempting to hike back to his car, he encountered a family on vacation from the Netherlands, who gave him food and water and alerted the authorities. A helicopter search party happened to pass overhead moments later and picked him up. Ralston was asked in an interview if he would ever make it public, and while he understood the intrigue and interest behind the concept, he politely declined, stating that it was a private personal video made for his family and friends, and that he intended for it to remain that way. Despite this, one video as well as a compilation of audio snippets taken from different sections.
Very little water. Having difficulty. Deep stuff. It's pretty much just that. To my vehicle, climbing is probably impossible with one hand. And my dehydration, I think, I'm ruling that out. And I think it's that I cut my arm. Into adventure and risk. But I feel alive. I'm thinking about good riches. Freedom. Okay. Are possible. All these an orange. Oh, the cancer.
In 2010, a movie titled 127 Hours, named after the amount of time that Ralston spent tracking the canyon, was released starring James Franco. To prepare for the role, Franco and the film's producers were allowed to view the home video footage that Ralston had recorded, and parts of the film's transcript were taken directly from Ralston's video. While I, and I'm sure many others, would like Aaron to make the footage public, I respect his decision to keep it private, as it was obviously a very harrowing experience for him, and the story of his survival should be enough.
Okay. Is he still climbing? Because he does have a prosthetic. That I would really like to know.
Cannibal Holocaust Piranha Scene. Cannibal Holocaust is a 1980 Italian exploitation horror film directed by Ruggero Deodato. The film tells the story of a missing documentary crew that was filming cannibal tribes in the Amazon. New York University anthropologist Harold Monroe is sent on an expedition to track down the missing crew. He manages to recover the film crew's lost cans of film, which an American broadcast station wishes to broadcast. Upon viewing the film reels, Monroe is appalled by the disturbing actions of the film crew and urges the station not to broadcast the documentary.
Things like this happen all the time in the jungle. It's survival of the fittest. In the jungle, it's the daily violence of the strong overcoming the weak. Jack!
At the time of the film's release, the found footage genre didn't really exist yet, so it was groundbreaking and is believed to have influenced the found footage movies that came years later, most notably the Blair Witch Project. Cannibal Holocaust caused a great deal of controversy, not only due to its graphic violence, but also due to on-screen killings of live animals and snuff film allegations that led to Deodato being charged with murder until he was able to prove the stars of the movie were indeed alive. The film was banned in Italy, Australia, Norway, and many other countries due to its content, though some bans have since been lifted. Among the many gruesome scenes in the film, another one was scripted that is commonly dubbed the Piranha Scene. In this scene, a single Shamatari warrior injured in battle was to have his leg amputated by warriors of the Yanomamo tribe. The tribe would then tie the Shamatari warrior to a log and lower him into the piranha-infested waters, slowly being eaten alive by the fearsome fish. Filming for the scene did commence but was never completed due to the piranhas being difficult to control and the film crew's underwater camera was malfunctioning and only production stills exist. It was rumored that the scene was included in several obscure foreign video releases, but this was proven to be false. The whereabouts of the surviving footage, if any, is unknown.
John, I want this material to burn. All of it.
the Columbine.
Thank God the images of the body were blurred. But what would... Whose idea... You know, I get it that it was the Italian director's idea, but what would make him think, huh, let's do this?
Basement tapes. On April 20th, 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, who were attending Columbine High School, shot and killed 14 students and a teacher before turning the guns on themselves. The incident was dubbed the Columbine Massacre. In December 1999, Time magazine reporter Tim Roach was given access to 5 videotapes recorded by the murderers that investigators had discovered. He published an article for Times on the tape on December 20th, soon after viewing them, dubbing them the basement tapes. Not long after the article's publication, furious family members of the deceased threatened to sue Jefferson County, considering the fact that not even they had been given access to the recordings. They came to an agreement, with Jefferson County quickly screening the tapes for them and then putting them in a vault indefinitely. However, in February 2015, word surfaced that the unreleased tapes had been approved for destruction by Sheriff Ted Mink of Jefferson County, Colorado in 2011. When an unknown party filed an open records request to view the unreleased tapes, they received a notice that the Sheriff's Office no longer had any documents in its possession responsive to their request. Afterward, a spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office confirmed that the tapes had been destroyed and that no copies are known to exist at all, meaning that the tapes would be lost forever if true. Over an hour's worth of footage made for a past project filmed by the two has surfaced in the years since. The two most notable pieces of footage are Rampart Range, which shows them at the shooting range with their friends using firearms, and the second is a student film they made called Hitmen for Hire, where they acted as bodyguards for people who were being bullied. However, once again, the things they say in this video definitely foreshadow what they would do several months later. Rampart Range is completely banned from YouTube due to it violating YouTube's policy on graphic violence, but is available on Dailymotion. Hitmen for Hire, however, is available on YouTube. As for the basement tapes themselves, as stated previously, it seems very unlikely that they will ever be released to the public.
Shake down who you want shaking down. Yeah. Let's say that you got a real problem making a collection, right?
This world is one of religion.
They kill us, the badge is working. I mean, when they hit it hurts. Same thing works the other way. You feed me a bus now. Some cowboy setting himself up for business. You're small fry, you know?
And it sounds.
Non-skippable ads are ridiculous.
The Japanese Cannibal audio. In the summer of 19...
Okay. The Columbine Massacre was the biggest school shooting to date. Well, in 1999. Fun fact. April 20th, 1999 is the birthday of Adolf Hitler. But, Columbine did do so many things good. One of the things that Columbine did was alert people that this can happen at any time. Now, I have an assumption. I do have an opinion, and that opinion is, if the kids weren't bullied, I don't think they would have done this. So, to all you kids out there, don't be a bully.
1981, Issei Sagawa, a Japanese student studying abroad in France, invited classmate Renee Hardveld to his apartment for dinner and to study poetry. What culminated was Sagawa's intention to kill Hardveld and consume her flesh. Sagawa claims that he'd had cannibalistic desires ever since he was a child after seeing someone else's thigh. In 1977, at the age of 27, Sagawa moved to France to pursue a PhD in literature at the Sorbonne in Paris. On June 11, 1981, Sagawa, then 32, invited his classmate Renee Hardveld, a Dutch woman, to dinner under the pretext of translating poetry for a school assignment. While Hardveld was reading a Jones Robert Becher poem about death, he shot her with a rifle. Using an electric knife, he started taking more than several kilos of meat from her body. He consumed her flesh during the next 3 days, cooking several meals and performing depraved acts with her corpse, before finally getting rid of the body. Sagawa recorded the entire incident on tape, including Hardveld and the actual shot that was fired. He also shot a total of 39 photographs showing several stagings he made with the corpse. Trying to make her body disappear, Sagawa eventually made a mistake by losing one of the suitcases containing her body parts in a public garden. The police later found the suitcase and arrested the man who was to be called the Japanese cannibal by the newspapers. The rest of Hardveld's body, the rifle, the photos, and the tape recorder, as well as several other pieces of evidence, were found in his apartment. Sagawa's wealthy father provided a lawyer for his defense, and after being held for 2 years awaiting trial, Sagawa was found legally insane and unfit to stand trial by the French judge, who ordered him held indefinitely in a mental institution. After a visit by the author Inuhiko Yamota, Sagawa's account of his kill was published in Japan under the title In the Fog. After being deported back to Japan, psychologists determined that he was legally sane and that perversion was the reason behind the murder. Due to the charges against him being dropped in France, the Japanese authorities were unable to sentence him, and he's remained free ever since. In the years since the murder, Sagawa has somehow become something of a celebrity in Japan. He's appeared in movies, published books, and has even written restaurant reviews for the magazine Spa. In 2013, he suffered a cerebral infraction which permanently damaged his nervous system. He's since said that he regrets what he did in 1981. The audio of the murder was confiscated by the French authorities and to this day has never been released. Images from the crime scene have been released, and after having seen them, I strongly suggest that you don't go looking for them unless you have a very strong stomach, as they are extremely graphic.
I bet he does feel sorry. I don't think he feels sorry. For someone to do something like that, to go into that much effort, I don't think he's that sorry. I just have a hard time believing. Anyway, let's move on.
Noah's Ark, The Complete Cut. Noah's Ark is a 1928 early talkie film based on the famous Bible story. The film is best known for its flood scene, which reportedly drowned 3 actors, critically injured another, and almost claimed the life of a 19-year-old John Wayne, who was cast as an extra in the scene. The actors can clearly be seen struggling to stay alive in the large amount of water used for the scene, and this film is responsible for putting forth stricter safety regulations on stunt scenes. In the footage you're seeing here, these people are not acting, they are legitimately frightened for their lives. When the film premiered in New York, it was 135 minutes in length. The film received harsh criticism for its poor sound quality and the aforementioned flood scene. For the wide release version, 35 minutes were cut to correct those criticisms. The longer version of the flood scene was apparently even more unsettling and even contained shots of the actors who were drowning. The 100-minute version is the only cut of the film that survives. The original premiere version hasn't been seen since its first showing in New York, leaving the aforementioned 35 minutes lost. If this footage does still exist, it's most likely being kept in the New York Film Archive and is unlikely to be released due to the on-screen deaths.
I honestly do not think that footage exists. I could be wrong. However, at least something good came out of it by having stricter regulations for stunt scenes.
Highwayman. The Skywayman is a 1920 documentary film about stunt flights produced by Fox Film Corporation. The film is mostly known both for its breathtaking stunts as well as the uncut footage of the crash that claimed the lives of Omar Locklear and Milton Elliott. On the night of August 2nd, 1920, one stunt was being filmed using the floodlights to help guide the pilots. The two pilots were operating a biplane and instructed the crew members to shut off the lights when they were getting ready to get close to the ground. They had flares attached to the wings to give the plane the illusion that they were on fire. The plane was to simulate a crash on the ground. The crew, however, neglected the directions to turn off the floodlights. Blinded by the glare of the lights, the pilots had no idea the ground was closer to them than they thought, and the plane crashed, killing both instantly. Locklear's girlfriend, Viola Dana, was on set and witnessed the crash. This scene aftermath, including Dana's horrified reaction, was left in the film, making it one of the first films to feature the on-screen deaths of its members. The scene shocked audiences worldwide. No footage of the film is known to exist, but some production stills, ads, and photos of the crash have survived.
Hi, your iFit trainer today.
I'm about to take you to a killer high-intensity one.
Try it free.
You guys ready? Get those knees up. Stay closer. I keep pushing through. You got this. Come on.
Okay, why wouldn't you just look at what you shot? Say, yeah, these people did die. Let's cut that out. Although, did they have... Well, they would have had the ability to edit. However, it was a freak accident and a miscalculation. Mistakes were made. And at the end of the day, 2 people lost their lives. Sad story.
The death of Steve Irwin.
G'day and welcome to the primitive island of New Guinea. On this mission, I'm going to take you from the mangroves all the way across the swamplands, up a river, into the rainforest, and right up into the mysterious jungles in the clouds.
If you grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, it's likely you know who Steve Irwin is. Steve Irwin is of course better known as the Crocodile Hunter, thanks to his documentary series of the same name, which ran from 1996 to 2007 and achieved worldwide acclaim, mostly due to Irwin's daredevil presenting style, whereby he put himself into incredibly risky situations to capture footage of numerous dangerous animals.
If I can get it on the ground, on the flat level ground, I've got a good chance. It means business. Its mouth open. The Egyptian cobra. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Stop it out. I never quite realised that these 2 giant goannas saw me as a food source. And as I approached, unknowingly, they just struck straight at me, going for my calf muscles, trying to pull them out. Their teeth are like razors. One bite, one laceration, and I'd bleed out and be dead in an instant. The smell of blood would send other dragons into a frenzy, and they'd come from everywhere. That was too close. Crocodiles attack so hard and fast from the water's edge that their prey doesn't get enough time to squeak after they've been hit. What? Grabs my hand back into the water so quick that my backup couldn't do a thing about it. His teeth penetrated straight through my head. A dangerous mistake that I'll never make again. It's quick. Real quick.
He also ran the Australia Zoo with his wife Terry, and would often film episodes of the show there.
And welcome to Australia Zoo. Mate, every single thing you see here today, myself and my mum and dad built from the ground up. And Terry and I, well, we're just continuing the family tradition. Please, come and have a look at the things we love the most. Our animals. Let's have a look.
In 2006, Steve began filming for a series called Ocean's Days. 8 days into filming while looking for tiger sharks, bad weather had brought production to a standstill. Steve said to his cameraman, Justin Lyons, "Let's go do something." So they got into an inflatable boat and went searching for something to film. Before long, they found an 8-foot wide stingray. Steve then got into the chest-deep waters to interact with the stingray, while Justin filmed him. Stingrays are not usually aggressive animals, and are more likely to run than fight as they are very fast swimmers, so that's naturally what they expected this stingray to do when Steve approached him. But as Steve got close, the stingray turned to face him and began stabbing violently with its tail. Lyons believes that the stingray probably mistook Steve's shadow for a tiger shark, who are known to prey on them, and was trying to defend itself. Lyons continued filming as Steve had told him that under no circumstances was he ever to stop, no matter how badly injured he was. According to eyewitness testimonies from crew members, the stingray struck Irwin in the chest multiple times, puncturing his heart, after which point he was immediately pulled from the water by his colleagues onto Croc 1, a 75-foot yacht created for the purposes of conducting both research and adventure tours, and then attempted to rush to the shore as Irwin bled out. An hour had passed before they made it to land, during which time Lyons performed CPR on Irwin, all the while a second cameraman continued shooting footage from the sidelines. Irwin was pronounced dead by the paramedics within seconds of their arrival. According to Lyons, his last words were, "I'm dying." The resulting footage was handed over to the Queensland authorities, who are said to have eventually returned it to Irwin's family, who are, in turn, said to have destroyed it. Lyons, when asked about his feelings on the possibility of the footage one day being aired, said that he hopes it is never released, out of respect to Irwin's family, and also revealed that he is no longer in possession of the recordings, and that he suspects there are no remaining copies in existence.
Alright, well, we're gonna, yeah, she's very cute, we're gonna have to take a break right now, and then in the commercial, we're gonna see you try and get that thing out of here without being killed, which I think is gonna be really fun. Alright, Steve Irwin, thank you very much for being here, and everybody, we'll take a break.
The dawn.
Okay, before we go into another ad, I just want to make my thoughts known on the Steve Irwin situation. Well, the death of Steve Irwin. Okay, I remember this story. And I remember watching a lot of The Crocodile Hunter. So, out of all the situations that I saw on television, I thought it couldn't be real. However, it was. You can't blame the stingray, you can't blame Steve Irwin, you can't even blame his cameraman, or cameramen, because they were just doing what they were ordered to do. So, it was just a freak accident that cost Steve his life. Let's move on.
Run, Jose.
Tree, I can sit. Okay.
Hey.
This is a second chance.
Pastor, I love coming out here every day and having the audience just love what we're doing with the animals. How do I make
these animals, beautiful as they are, and have people walk away loving this animal. They're attached to their moves, and I feel like I make a difference to them.
Dawn Brancho was a trainer at SeaWorld.
Over there. We've got a play. It's yours. Okay? Tell me your dollars. Okay, tell me. Please tell me.
In Orlando, Florida, where she worked for 15 years training orcas, also known as killer whales. She was going to film every performance she did with the orcas so that she could see what she needed to improve on. She became very popular at SeaWorld thanks to the Shamu show and became the theme park's poster girl. On February 24, 2010, Brancho performed a Dine with Shamu show with Tilikum, the largest orca at SeaWorld Orlando. As part of the end show routine, she was at the edge of the pool, rubbing Tilikum's head. She was lying with her face next to Tilikum's on a side out, which is a platform submerged about a foot into water. Suddenly, Dawn was grabbed by the arm by Tilikum and dragged under the water.
And she walked around the perimeter of G-Pool. He followed her. And then continued over to the rocky ledge area where she laid down with him to do a relationship session, which is it's quiet time basically.
Tilikum at some point grabbed a hold of her left forearm and started to drag her and eventually did a barrel roll and pulled her in.
He wouldn't release her, and because she was submerged under the water, she drowned. Eventually, the park's employees were able to lure Tilikum into a smaller pool and attempted to calm him down. After 45 minutes, he finally released her body. It wasn't until the autopsy that it was revealed just how much blunt force trauma Tilikum had caused to Brancho's body. As stated earlier, Dawn had every performance filmed, so the attack was caught on camera and part of the footage was used in the documentary film Blackfish, but cuts off just before Tilikum grabs Brancho. This is likely out of respect for her and her family, or because SeaWorld forbade the footage to be shown publicly. Dawn was the third person to be killed by Tilikum. His second victim, a drifter named Daniel P. Dukes, also had his attack caught on film, but this footage has never been seen and may have been destroyed. Blackfish shows other trainers being attacked by orcas, and SeaWorld's excuse for each of them was to claim it was a trainer's mistake. They also said the same of Dawn's death, meaning they tried to make it out that her death was her own fault, claiming that Tilikum grabbed her by the ponytail and that wouldn't have happened if she tied her hair back.
The new claim is that he grabbed her ponytail. This is a subtle way of placing the blame on Dawn's shoulders. She shouldn't have had a long ponytail, or if she did have that ponytail, she'd have been up in the bottom.
Dawn, if she was standing here with me right now, would tell you that it was her, that was her mistake. How dare you? How disrespectful for you to blame her when she's not even allowed to defend herself.
There are photographs of plenty of other trainers doing exactly the same thing that she's doing. So I knew that SeaWorld was lying about the fact that this was her fault.
The ponytail, in all likelihood, is just a tail.
Dawn's death and Blackfish caused huge amounts of controversy and criticism for SeaWorld, with many people saying that the orcas should not be held in captivity and that Tilikum should be set free so that he never killed anyone again. After the incident, a new rule was introduced that prohibited trainers from getting into the water with the orcas and always had a barrier between them. Tilikum actually continued appearing in performances until his death from a bacterial infection in 2017 at the age of 35.
Time out. So you mean to tell me that one whale killed not one, not two, but 3 people, and SeaWorld just decided to do nothing?
But not Jason Sub. What can I possibly be doing?
Really?
Escape was always just a joke.
Nothing. Sounds like to me that SeaWorld could have lawsuits on their hands. I mean, one death I can sort of understand.
Waterproof patch and seal spray
But
seals out water, air,
2 more after that.
prevents leaks indoors, outdoors.
Put the whale down.
Anywhere you need for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
And the way SeaWorld said that it was Don's fault? Sounds like to me it was a PR spin. Because nobody likes negative PR now, do they? Instead of SeaWorld saying, yeah, it was our fault. It was our fault. We should have had A, B, and C introduced so something like this never happened. Instead, you decide to go the cowardly way and say, it was her fault. The whale grabbed her by her ponytail. That doesn't make any sense to me.
The Timothy Treadwell tape.
If I show weakness, if I retreat, I may be hurt, I may be killed. I must hold on if I stay within this land. For once there is weakness, they will exploit it, they will take me out, they will decapitate me, they will chop me into bits and pieces. I'm dead.
Timothy William Dexter, better known by his nickname Timothy Treadwell, was an American environmentalist, documentary maker, and, most importantly, a bear enthusiast. Treadwell was known for spending long periods of time at Halo Bay on the Katmai coast in Alaska, where he'd observed grizzly bears. He was known for getting extremely close to the bears he observed, sometimes even touching them and playing with bear cubs. He would often name the bears he met, and was said to develop long-standing relationships with them.
I want to introduce you to one of the key role players in this year's expedition. The bear's name is the Grinch. The Grinch has come on to be one of the more frequent bears here in the grizzly maze. The Grinch is a female of about 5 years of age. Oh, hi, Grinch. Hi. And she has kind of an aggressive attitude. Hi. If I turn around too much, she'll bite me. It's okay. Hi, how are you?
Between 1990 and 2001, he'd become notable enough that he'd been traveling around the USA teaching children about bears, and had even appeared on the Discovery Channel and The Late Show with David Letterman.
With these grizzly bears, you're surrounded by them. They're very close to you. Is that how you live with them?
Yes, I always give them respect and lots of room, because, you know, a grizzly's the boss out there.
But you interact with them?
It's important that every bear knows who I am and that I fit on their hierarchy if I'm to survive.
Is it going to happen that one day we read a news article about you being eaten by one of these bears?
In October 2003, Treadwell and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, who unlike Treadwell actually feared bears, were in Katmai National Park to study them. They were there later than usual, and at the time, the bears were filling up on food for hibernation. Food was scarce that year due to a series of droughts, which made them unusually aggressive. On October 5th, Treadwell informed an associate via a satellite phone call that they were having no problems with any of the bears in the area.
I must hide from the authorities. I must hide from people who would harm me. I must now even hide from people that seek me out because I've made some sort of I don't want to say celebrity, but they come here to Alaska and they hear about Treadwell in the bush and they want to go find him. But I can't. I'm hidden down below. No one knows where I am. Even I don't even know where I am.
The next day, Willie Fulton, a Kodiak air taxi pilot, arrived at Treadwell and Huguenard's campsite to pick them up, but found the area abandoned, except for a bear, and contacted the local park rangers. After a quick investigation, their remains were found. Park rangers shot the bear and, upon dissecting it, discovered human body parts of the stomach. A video camera was found at the site, which contained a 6-minute-long recording consisting only of audio due to the lens cap not being removed while the camera was on. The audio of the tape consisted of Treadwell and Huguenot screaming as they were attacked by the bear. The tape later found its way into the hands of Treadwell's ex-girlfriend, Jill Palovak. In 2005, German filmmaker Werner Herzog created a documentary called Grizzly Man, where he covered Treadwell's work in Alaska. In it, he met Palovak and was granted access to listen to the tape. While we can't hear any of it, we do see Herzog's reaction. After listening to it, he tells Palovak that she should destroy the tape.
Jill, you must never listen to this.
I'm never going to.
And you must never look at the photos of the crime surface. I think you should not keep it, you should destroy it. I think that's what you should do. Because it will be like anything to you in all your life.
She ultimately chose not to destroy it, but has stored it in a safe deposit box and claims to have never listened to it. As with the rest of the entries on this list, it's unlikely this will ever be made public.
But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there is no other place in the world that is more dangerous, more exciting than the Grizzly Maze. Come here, camp here, come here and try to do it. You will die. You will die here. You will freaking die. Here. They will get you. I found a way. I found a way to survive with them.
And there we have it, folks. That's 9 more pieces of this.
Okay. I don't think that footage, I don't think that audio is ever going to be released. In fact, I pray to God that it doesn't happen.
Media. I was finally able to include the Columbine basement tapes, which I had originally intended on putting in my last video. I apologise for not using any footage of Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, but YouTube really doesn't want me using any in my videos. Hitmen for Hire is on YouTube and there's even a couple of reactions to it, but for whatever reason I can't use it. In regards to Issei Sagawa, I think we can all agree that he should be in prison right now. In my last video where I covered the Armin Mivers tape, quite a few people left comments expressing sympathy towards him, as what he did to Bern Brandis was actually consensual, and that Mivers should not be serving a life sentence for what he did. In my honest opinion, Mivers isn't a danger to anyone now, especially since he became a vegetarian, so obviously he wouldn't be interested in eating people anymore. Sagawa, on the other hand, he should be in jail right now. The only reason he never went to jail was because his rich father bailed him out. Him regretting his actions now doesn't absolve him. The guy's guilty as hell. As for the Dawn Brown Show incident, regardless of whether or not Tilikum acted out of malice, orcas are very intelligent after all, so it's likely that he was completely aware of what he was doing. It is seriously scummy of SeaWorld to try and pin the blame solely on Dawn, the victim in this situation, just to make it look like they weren't breaking any rules by having the trainers interact with a dangerous animal who killed people in the past. I honestly don't think the footage of her death should be released. I don't get shocked easily, but after learning about what Tilikum did to her, I never want to see that. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
I'm glad to catch myself in the house. Once maybe, then what? Huh? Then what? You gonna trust some monkey in a Bahamian bank with 20 million of your hard dollars? Come on, Tony, don't be a schmuck. Who else can you trust? That's why you pay us what you do. You trust us. Huh?
And that concludes my reaction to 9 more pieces of dark and disturbing lost media. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I think tomorrow's reaction will be 5 pieces of dark and disturbing lost media, just because, well, this is the first video, this is the second video, I did the second video first, I'm gonna go back and do the first, so, I'm Hardcore Christopher. Keep it hardcore, everyone.
You try.